Hey KU fans, welcome back to KU Sports Extra here at Bramlage Coliseum with Big Benton Smith. I'm Matt Tate, and a rough night for people wearing colors not the purple. KU loses a tough game, physically tough, mentally tough game, 74-67 to K-State, and is now 2 games back in the loss column. 8 games to go, but 2 games to a team that just beat you sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like a lot, I think, when you have just faced that team and
Right.
struggle with the ball like you've done so many other times
Right.
in road games. And I don't know, I think both you and I kind of figured K-State would win tonight,
Yeah.
but I didn't really expect KU to be that loose with it or be that bothered by K-State's defense. I mean, obviously I overlooked how good K-State is defensively. I was just thinking KU handled Texas Tech so well, they might be able to handle it on the road, but did not happen.
Well, that was it, right? The difference, home and away, home and away, home and away. I mean, that's what it's going to come down to for the rest of the season.
Got to win a road game at some point.
Somewhere. They've got 4 left. One's at Texas Tech. That one sounds difficult because Texas Tech just beat West Virginia by 31 at home. Then at Oklahoma State to close out the year. And what's the other one? TCU coming up. Yeah. That'd be a big one. This would have been a bigger one.
For sure.
I was really impressed. And you're right. I mean, they didn't handle that at all. But the terrible start.
Oh, yeah.
K-State jumped all over them. The building was alive. It was as bad as it could have been. And then there KU was controlling the final 10 minutes of the first half and taking a lead into the locker room. At that point, I started to think, man, you know, first of all, this is a team that shouldn't be in this position.
Right. But
they are. Credit to them for their improved defense over those last 10 minutes. And then I was thinking, you know, it's Bruce Weber. He's not the most amazing adjustment kind of guy. I didn't know that he would necessarily dial it up at halftime and fix that, but he did, you know. And I give him a lot of credit because that 2-3 zone that KU played
really effective,
killed K-State in the first half. And it was non-existent in the second half. Not only did it not work, when they tried it, they barely could even play it. And that was a credit to K-State and the adjustments they made.
Yeah. And it seemed like KU just was giving away possessions too, on top of the zone not working. And they were still in it though. I think that goes back to what a struggle it is sometimes for K-State to just score.
Sure.
I mean, they average 65 a game, one of the lower numbers in the country. Not a good offensive team at all, but a great defensive team.
Right.
And we saw that just the way they got up in bodies and just really bothered Dedrick Lawson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, great defensive effort from K-State.
Yeah, there were so many times, you pointed out, I mean, there were so many times where KU was down 5 or 6 or 4 or somewhere in that range. They'd have the ball and they'd turn it over. And they didn't get down 8 or 10 because, like you mentioned, K-State couldn't score. They couldn't capitalize. But just turning them over, just taking points away from KU was enough in that one. And it really took KU out of any kind of rhythm. LeGerald Vick was non-existent again. He only played 4 minutes in the first half and 19 total. His 15 second half minutes were nothing to write home about. He didn't start the second half, which I thought was pretty noteworthy. Charlie Moore did. Charlie Moore, another pretty decent game, pretty decent effort. You're not going to get more than that from him.
And they were able to play him a lot because of that zone.
Right. Yeah, great point. And we asked Self after the game about Vic and if it was just a production thing or what. And, you know, he said no, there were other reasons he didn't start the second half and play much in the first. So something to keep an eye on. They got to have that guy in a good headspace if they're going to make a run at this thing. But, yeah, 8 games to go, 4 on the road, 4 at home. The road's been tough. They're 1-6. I don't think there's anybody that would think they're going to go 4-0 on the road. At this point, maybe 2-2 would be a huge success.
Like a lot, right?
And then if you hold court at home, that puts you at 12-6. There's been some talk about 12-6 getting a share of this thing. But K-State at 7-2, Baylor at 6-2. It's going to be tough now. It's going to be really tough. And for the first time, I think, you know, they've been there before. They've been behind late in the schedule, late in the season. But I don't know, never quite like this. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's a little bit different just because this team just keeps having the same issues throughout the year.
Yeah.
Hasn't been able to turn a corner at any point. You get the feeling like they're making progress, and it's always at home, right?
Always.
It's always a home game that makes you think, well, maybe they're not too bad here.
Right.
But the road is just killing them. So I mean, there's no consistency, and there hasn't been that change. There hasn't been that leadership. I mean, Self again was talking about the lack of leadership tonight. I mean, he talks about it after every road game,
right.
Really.
It's a major problem, and they got to find somebody. I think he said this tonight in the post game, though. I mean, he'd rather see it be a collective group effort at this point. No one guy is going to emerge as the leader on this team. It's got to be a group effort. So we'll see. They play Oklahoma State on Saturday at home, 11 a.m. That's a way to get right again, but that's a game they'll be favored in, and no one's going to expect them to have trouble in that one. Doesn't mean they won't, but these games like tonight, games like last Saturday against Texas Tech, those are the big ones, and they're running out of big ones. Tough one tonight. 74-67, KU loses. They are 17-6 overall now, and 6-4 in the Big 12. It's going to get really interesting from here. We'll be there every step of the way. For Benton Smith, I'm Matt Tate. Thanks for checking out KU Sports Extra. We'll talk to you guys again real soon.